sfrenato.
Different governments and world institutions have been reporting the decline in birth rate as one of the most concerning figures on a global level. Pope Francis also spoke about this during a forum dedicated to this issue.
Il problema del nostro mondo non sono i bambini che nascono, sono l'egoismo, il consumismo, l'individualismo che rendono le persone sazie, sole e infelici. Il numero delle nascite è il primo indicatore della speranza di un popolo. Senza bambini e giovani un paese perde il suo desiderio di futuro.
And the figures reflect this. According to the United Nations and the World Bank, the number of children per woman globally fell from 5 in 1950 to 2.3 in 2021. These figures are even worse when looking at specific countries. For example, in just over 70 years, women in the United States have had an average of 2 fewer women. In other regions, the drop is exponential. In Mexico, it has gone from almost 7 children per woman in 1960 to less than 2 in 2021. The same is true of South Korea, which has dropped from 5.95 to 0.81. Africa is the continent that breaks this trend in the world's birth rate figures, but the decline can still be seen. For example, Niger is the country with the highest fertility rate, with 7.53 children per woman, and this figure fell in 2021 to 6.82. There are several reasons for this worldwide decline, mainly related to a number of sociocultural phenomena. One example is the incorporation of women into the workforce, which tends to delay the age at which they have children. Decades ago, women had large families when they were only 23 or 24 years old. Nowadays, a woman decides to become a mother on average at the age of 27. We cannot keep silent about the weight that legitimate female emancipation has had on this trend. Perhaps if empowered women had found more support, more help in the private and public sectors, we would have a trend today that is not so negative in terms of children. So the economic issue is a very serious one. The matter of not supporting working mothers is an equally serious issue. As a result, governments and companies are now being asked to implement policies that help families balance work and family life.
Si tratta di attuare serie ed efficaci scelte in favore della famiglia. Ad esempio, porre una madre nella condizione di non dover scegliere tra lavoro e cura dei figli, oppure liberare tante giovani coppie dalla zavorra della precarietà occupazionale e dell'impossibilità di acquistare una casa.
It is precisely young people's fear of instability in the future that is another social factor affecting the birth rate.
Il valore famiglia è avvertito.
The family value is perceived, but the fear of an uncertain future from a job, economic, and overall well-being point of view that one can guarantee to one's children is clearly persisting and will contribute to even more negative data. But there is another key figure to be added to all this data: life expectancy. Today, people live an average of 28 years longer than in 1950. This means that, in that decade, the average life expectancy was 45 years old. Now, it is about 73 years old. This may have consequences in the future in areas such as pensions. If there is not a high population that can contribute with their taxes to pay for the retirement of the elderly, as some countries warn, the world economies could run into big problems.